Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today we're going to have another opinion video, and I'm going to talk about that concept that always puzzles me with film photography nowadays, and it's the film photography without editing, like the whole straight out of scan, no retouching. Film photography, first of all, I want to make note, is an artistic choice nowadays. You don't have to shoot film to make a living. That's not the only option. Digital's out there. And as an artistic choice, you can do whatever you want with your choices, your photography, your videos, whatever you want. But one thing that you see a lot in the film community is, yeah, straight out of camera, into the scanner, and no retouching, nothing. And I want to go first back into history, because that's where I think we get the conclusion of why we are where we are. First of all, film photography, when it started, or not when it started, but at the peak of film photography was done as you would capture a picture with your camera. You would have a choice when you take the picture, and that's the first thing I always say is you take a picture 3 times to get to the final stage. Basically, you process a picture 3 times. First of all, you choose the depth of field, you choose the contrast you want, or basically the light that you want to read off, you choose the focus and so on when you take the picture, and the composition. Obviously, you're cropping into something, you're taking a scene, you're leaving everything around you out of there. You're only seeing that little square or rectangle in your viewfinder of your camera. You snap a shot, and then you go ahead and go to the next picture, and you finish your roll. When you finish your roll, you basically have that roll of film that has all those images that you've decided to take a certain way. And with your developing, be it at a lab or be it yourself, you choose what you want to do. You can push the development, you can pull the development, you can agitate more or agitate less, you can stand develop, you can do whatever, and that will change the outcome of those images you chose the first time. You're choosing for the second time. And then when you go for scanning or for the darkroom, you once again are interpreting what you wanted out of your pictures. If it's in the darkroom, maybe you have a cloud, you're like, wow, this cloud kind of looks washed out. I want to give it a bit of contrast and give it a filter number 5 and bring out some blacks and some whites and make it extra contrasty. Or maybe in the scanner, you're like, you know what, this lamppost isn't in the middle, I don't like it, I'm going to remove it. With digital technology nowadays, you can remove it. Back in the day, it was possible to remove in the darkroom, but it was a pain. And you do that and you finalize your image. The thing is, everybody that took pictures artistically, at least a decade or 2 decades or 3 decades ago, were going for that final image, and they had to think when they were taking it what those processes would be throughout the thing. The most I think biggest example is probably Ansel Adams and his zone system, and the way he would meter and the way he would develop, and then the way he would print. He was a master printer. He would print to make things disappear or things appear that maybe you couldn't see on a normal out of the darkroom print that you haven't done anything to. And that's the thing. When you are in the darkroom or in the scanner, you're basically replicating what people used to do in the darkroom, and you're going for that artistic choice. Choosing to not do anything obviously is a choice, but that shouldn't be the selling point of your photography, saying you didn't manipulate. The problem comes, I think, from the new digital trend, and maybe not so much now, but at the beginning of digital, when things were really easy to fake and so on. You would be doing like changing lights, changing skies, changing rocks, multiplying rocks, adding more grass, or taking away some patch, or taking away an antenna, stuff like that. And we started collaging our photography to the point that some people in the film photography have decided that if this is photography, and I'm talking about the extreme collage photography, focus stacking, all these things, I'm gonna go the other way, which is not doing anything at all. Shooting film, and that's it. But like I said, when you shoot film, when you take a picture, you have multiple choices. One thing that's also been happening a lot, and I think this is interesting, is people have left step 2 and 3 to their labs. They don't want to do any of that work. And this is one thing I don't do reviews sometimes on black and white films in this YouTube channel, is because I can grab Tri-X, I can shoot it all I want, I can develop it myself, and scan it in different ways all the single time. I can develop in HC110 in B, in A, in D, in H. I can develop in raw and all. I can shake it all the time. I can shake it less. And I could say every single time for every single roll something different from that film. And that's where I can't say exactly what a film looks like unless I have maybe tried all the developers and all the combinations, and then I can be like, okay, this film is very flat, or okay, this film is very contrasty. There are obviously certain trades to each film, and you'll notice as you shoot more. Like I noticed that straight pan in my combination was very contrasty, but maybe, Delta 100 is less contrasty in my delusion, but you might get more contrast. So when people say straight out of scanner, no retouching, to me, that means that they are inherently trying to make a difference to the digital trend of like removing, adding stuff, which is, like I said, an artistic choice. You can choose to do that. I'm one of those that I hate scanning. I dislike it strongly. I don't like doing that because, first of all, I'm not really very good on the computer and doing recreating what I do in the darkroom. I enjoy putting my film in a in an enlarger, printing it, and I do always go for the first enlargement, and that's what I called like basically print zero, like basically the origin of my print. And once I printed the print zero, and I'm like, okay, I'm happy with the general exposure of this print. I noticed that there's no dust, no scratches, no nothing. I'm like, okay, this. Now, where do I want to take this print? And then I can be like, I want more contrast. So I go more contrast. Oh, this sky has no detail. I'll burn this area. Or, okay, this area is way too dark. I'm going to dodge it so there's a bit more detail in the shadows, stuff like that. That is where I choose to play. If I was putting it on a scanner and scanning, I would probably do the same thing in black and white, for example. Color film is another thing that's extra funny. Is every time you scan color film, your scanner, digital camera, Negative Lab Pro or plugin or whatever is doing an interpretation of what that color negative film is. If you really want to go for 100% fidelity, give me a second. You should take a picture of every single roll you're taking with a color chart, like this one. This is something I use for video to try to make my colors be consistent within each video, and I still fail. If you were taking pictures or you wanted to really show the reality of the world, you would be shooting something like 8K video with color charts everywhere you go, so you can make it exactly like it should be. But to me, this is just a mere formality to try to get the best results. And same thing goes with color film. If you were serious about your color film and your conversion, you would take a picture of every roll and maybe different light situations with one of these, and then you can make this white, you can make this black, you can make this middle gray, here, and then the tones. So that's what product photography people do with digital. They take a color chart, take a picture. Same thing in the movie. They use one of these color charts, take a picture with the video, and from there they take their choices when they're doing the grading. So to me, in general, what I was trying to say, that whole concept of shooting film and straight out of scanner, no retouching, is an answer to the extra manipulation of images in the digital realm. Doesn't mean that is how film photography is intended. It can be your choice. So yeah, if you're gonna go ahead, shoot film, and then you're gonna edit the heck out of it, enjoy it. To me, that's what it's all about, is enjoying what you do with your photography. Obviously, if you are doing some major manipulation and you're trying to tell people like straight out of camera, this is how it came out, then maybe you're lying to yourself and to others. But I enjoy the idea. Same goes with cropping. I'm a big fan of not cropping my film images, and I do like the little rebate border around. It kind of gives me like a little closure, but I'm also one that tends to shoot film without really looking through the viewfinder many times. I'm one of those that I like the happy mistakes of maybe someone's hand just came into the frame, or someone's hand came out of the frame just at certain points too. But I said, if you crop, it's not a problem. That whole full frame exactly with the edge to show that you cropped, like shot properly, is a funny thing. A lot of the big famous photographers have cropped their images to make them better, stronger, to improve composition, because sometimes they didn't have the choice. And when you're shooting film, you don't always have the choice to take 600 pictures of the same scene to then go into the darkroom and be like, that one is the good one without cropping anything. If you go back in time and you watch Gary Winogrand, he would shoot multiple shots of every single scene to try to get the best he could, but he would obviously, if he needed to, probably cropped into his images. I'm not saying he did, but probably could if he wanted to. So yeah, that's my opinion today. That whole straight out of camera, straight out of scanner vibe is, in my opinion, a little wrong, if I could say. But also I can accept it and I can see where it's coming from. But please, guys, don't think that the scanner interpretation of your film picture is what the film actually is. It's just the scanner's interpretation of your film picture. Those black and white pictures that are full of tonality but are bland is because your scanner just made everything medium gray. They didn't go for contrast. Please go ahead, enjoy photography, maybe finishing and finding your voice into that artistic choice of shooting film photography. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. As always, remember, I'll leave the link to Patreon on donations if you feel like me making more videos like this. I hope this is not too much of a touchy subject to some. Didn't mean to offend anybody. Like I said, everybody does what everybody wants, and me, myself, I'll keep shooting film, enjoying that, maybe not cropping, and yeah, going into the darkroom and finishing my prints as I had thought they should look when I took them, or sometimes how I think they should look after doing that first print that I'm happy with, then pushing my limits of dodging and burning. See you in the next one. Bye.